Around 2 years ago, you and I had a lovely chat about some wrestling superstars that had been kicked out of the locker room for one reason or another. And as time has passed us by, as the passages move forward to a different sphere, I thought we should do it again. As we know, these stories are just fascinating too, and usually better than the narrative that we're actually seeing played out on television. Imagine this kind of thing happened in your office too. Dave from accounts gets banned from the building because he's been stealing pencil rubbers. What an asshole Dave is. Enough about Dave though, because we've given him enough time, and let's turn our attention to the wrestling superstars. My name is Simon Miller, this is What Culture, and this is 5 more wrestling superstars that got kicked out of the locker room. Number 5, the Hardy Boys. Matt and Jeff Hardy's 2003 joint autobiography that was known as Exist to Inspire held absolutely nothing back when it came to what happened behind the scenes at WWE. In that sense, was really rather shocking, especially when they talked about all the bullying and hazing that went on behind the curtain. Because let's call a spade a spade. If all of these rumours that we have heard throughout the years are true, I would imagine it's an environment that not many of us would have been able to survive in. It would be like being bullied at school, although now you're a damn adult. The duo said that they had never drunk before making it to the main roster, but that changed after peer pressure when they just wanted to fit in. They wanted to be part of the trend. That was clearly never going to be easy, but it did give them a sense of expectance, especially after one John Bradshaw Layfield had kicked them out of the locker room after Matt and Jeff had accidentally disrespected Kane. The brothers had unknowingly sat in the Big Red Machine's upgraded plane seat, and that meant JBL was going to put on his big boy hat and take them to task, including the infamous Wrestler's Court. After that was said and done, not only did Matt and Jeff have to go out and perform a bunch of chores and punishment, but they also had to buy everyone a bunch of alcohol. So there you go, friends and family. If you make it to the WWE, make sure you're sitting in the right person's seat. Number 4, Big Cass. I'm not sure anybody could have predicted Big Cass's dismissal in 2018, but as I say these words, it has happened, and whether or not he ever comes back to the WWE, well, that's up in the air too. Nobody knows what the future holds for the man who claims to be 7 feet tall thanks to education. It was just a bad period all round for Cass after he'd been laid out with injury, and then when he came back to television, his feud with Daniel Bryan didn't exactly light up the world. He then made an even bigger faux pas when he was told to go out on SmackDown and just punch a little person, but decided that wasn't enough, so beat the living crap out of him instead, even though management had told him, no, we don't want you doing that. And then Cass decided to boot a toilet door on a bus right off its hinges as the WWE superstars were traveling around for shows because he thought somebody had locked him in. Nobody had locked him in. Throw in some murmurings that he said the wrong things to the wrong people, and not only was Big Cass chucked out of the locker room, but he was also chucked out WWE for good. Number 3, Enzo Amore. It is crazy to think the same fate befell both Enzo Amore and Big Cass in 2018, given their past. But here we are, and that is exactly what happened. As we know, Enzo's release from the company was controversial at best, and this was seen as the final nail in the coffin after he had gone around backstage and pretty much just wound everybody up. In short, Enzo was basically acting behind the cameras as he was doing in front of them, and that annoyed a lot of people, no less Roman Reigns, the locker room leader, who after one particularly frustrating bus tour told Enzo, sorry pal, you're not allowed to dress in here anymore, you gotta go outside. The Wrestling Observer reported this did indeed happen during the spring 2017 European tour, and oddly enough, a few months after this, Enzo and Big Cass got split up. And somehow Enzo made all of this work, or at least did better with the material, than a lot of us expected. I mean, after he escaped a shark cage in his boxer shorts, he was then victorious in his feud with Big Cass. Before long, he'd be headed over 205 Live, becoming the Cruiserweight Champion. He did alright there, even though he wasn't best liked, before everything we know that happened, and that was it. He was cut from WWE. Number 2, the Young Bucks. If you do follow the Young Bucks, you will know that during their time in TNA, they often joke about the fact that they were forced to change in broom cupboards because of all the veterans that they'd upset along their journey. Again, that is like starting a new job and then being told by your line manager that nobody likes you, so from now on, you're doing your data entry in the toilet. There is evidence out there though, including from the likes of Booker T and Rob Van Dam, who have actually said that yes, they did feel disrespected by Matt and Nick for breaking unwritten locker room rules. At one point it looked like all of this could have chased the tag team out of the industry entirely, but as we know, they took those unwritten rules and they went and wrote their own, change the game. Booker's real issue, which by the way has been cleared up since the incident, was that he felt the Bucks had been cold to him when they were backstage and not made the effort to go and introduce themselves. RVD felt the same and that caused some problems, but from my end, I can kind of understand it. Imagine that you or I were in that situation and you saw all these familiar wrestlers just walking around. I can imagine it would be a little bit intimidating. I know I would be if I was there, but there you go. Now you know, don't do that. Number 1, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Who knows what happened here, but hey, maybe we're just being worked like the fools we are. But in 2017, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn weren't just hoofed out of the locker room, they were sent packing overseas. SportsIllustrated.com were the first to report that apparently during a SmackDown taping over here in Manchester, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn had just decided not to follow the script and went into business for themselves. In short, Zayn and Owens bailed from the ring abruptly when they were meant to stay in there and have their asses kicked by the New Day. They didn't want to do that, so they didn't do it. After the show was broadcast, including this segment which aired completely unedited, which makes me raise an eyebrow like The Rock, Vince McMahon signed off on the decision to completely remove them from the overseas tour, and then it started to seem like it was tying into their storyline, which at the time was them about being anti-authority figures, and now the ultimate authority figure had just put them on a plane and said, "You're going home." They were both still booked to interfere in the Survivor Series main event and go on to get world title shots against AJ Styles, which makes this even more confusing. But isn't that the fun? Isn't that what makes it so fun? We just don't know. Wrestling, eh? The gift that keeps on giving. Maybe. I don't know what that means. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about stars being kicked out of the locker room. Like, share, and subscribe. Head over to whatculture.com and read yourself some articles. Follow What Culture on Twitter. What Culture WWE. My name is Simon from What Culture. Thank you for watching, and I'm going to see your ass soon. Not literally, figuratively.